So good evening and welcome to our last lecture. We're really excited about tonight's lecture and can't wait to hear from everyone about the success in their journey to wellness. So before we introduce all of our guests, we want to remind everybody of the walk or jog that we'll be doing this Saturday at 9 a.m. It will be beautiful. It's on the OC&E Trail, starting at Reeder Road, which is also called the Pine Grove Trailhead, but it will be right at the intersection of Reeder Road and the OC&E Trail. And it will end just before Olean, where we'll turn around to make it a 5K walk or jog, or 3.1 miles. You can continue to Olean if you'd like, and then it would be a 4.5 mile round trip. So we really want to make this Saturday outing a splash and be united in our efforts and walk in solidarity in our T-Rex t-shirts. So we're hoping that everybody here will join us. How fun would it be to have our huge group out there together showing both ourselves and our community that we're committed to wellness?
That's right. It'll be fun.
That's right.
So if anybody has been to any of our past Saturday hikes or walks, it'll be just the same. So we will have one group out there who will be walking for those of you who want to go slower. And then we will also have one group who will be jogging or running. And of course, anybody can go at their own pace. Whatever your pace is, we really don't anticipate that this will take any longer than 1.5 to 2 hours. And we think it'll be a great way to start our weekend all together. And we really do want you to succeed on your personal journey to good health. Whether you're already there and trying to maintain it, or if you're still trying to reach it. And so to help inspire folks to join us this Saturday morning, we are giving away free T-Rex t-shirts. And so if you haven't already received one, please just let us know, email us anytime up to Saturday morning. And we had a really exciting opportunity just materialize last night that we wanted to share with you. We were contacted by Runner's World. Is anybody familiar with that magazine? Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's a globally circulated magazine. It comes out every month, and it's for runners of all abilities, from the very, very beginner to that advanced athlete. And they are coming here to feature all of you, to feature all of us. So they will be out there with us Saturday morning on the OC&E Trail, and they want to take photos of you. They caught wind of our Couch to 5K lecture series, and so they're considering this for one of their upcoming feature stories. And so we would love to see photos of all of you distributed around the world. And like Catherine said, how cool if we are all in our T-Rex t-shirts together. So we think it would be a wonderful opportunity just to highlight our little town here in Klamath Falls, what we're doing, and just raise awareness about the importance of united community efforts. Does anybody have any questions about Saturday morning?
Just a quick little trivia thing, if you guys can have an extra thing. What does OC&E mean?
Oregon Central Railroad.
No. What?
California and
Easter.
Yes. She said it. Who said it over here?
Oregon, California.
You get an extra ticket because that is what it is. It's Oregon, California, and Easter. This will be a timber. And so, yay for you. Do you guys mind that I did that?
No, thanks, Catherine. Great.
This is fun and educational. So on to introductions. We're going to ask each of our guests to share their path to wellness in about 5 minutes, and then after all of the stories, we'll open the discussions for Q&A, for questions. So if you think of any questions during one of the talks, just go ahead and write them down, and please ask them at the end of all the stories.
So we are so thrilled to have each and every one of our community members here with us today. Each person is in a different place of growth in their journey. Some have lost 20 pounds, some have lost hundreds of pounds. Some are simply working towards better nutrition, eating better. Others are working on incorporating physical activity into their life and less concerned about the actual pounds. Some are beginning their journey and others are at their end. And we thought that sharing just this variety of stages of personal health would hopefully help resonate with each one of us, since we are all on our own different path to wellness. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our guest speakers. At the end, in the green shirt, we have Dr. Anna Olson. She is a resident physician at Cascades East Family Practice. Next to Anna, we have Tammy Ubetta. She works in outpatient registration at Sky Lakes. Next to Tammy, we have Rhonda Clark. She is an insurance specialist at Sky Lakes Medical Center. Our only male represented here, thank you, Tom, we have Tom McCown. He is a local, very talented contractor. Next to Tom, we have Catherine Yoakum-Pope, who is opening up the Sky Lakes Wellness Center. And then last but definitely not least, we have Diana Wright. And she works in adult home health and foster care. So we'll have everybody just share 5-6 minutes of their personal story. If you go on a little bit long, we'll just gently cut you off. And you know what? Sometimes it can be so hard to public speak. And so if you're too short, we might just ask you a couple questions just so we can get about 5 minutes or so of your story. And then like Catherine mentioned, we'd really love to open this up to question and answer session at the end. So please, if you have any questions for anybody, just jot it down, and at the very end, we'll open it up. So Anna, if you could start us off.
Like she said, my name's Anna Olson. I'm one of the new interns here at the hospital in Cascades East. I actually met Catherine on a bike ride recently, and we were talking, and she asked if I would come and share my story here, and I said yes. I have been overweight my whole life. Through high school, I was pretty active, participated in sports, went hiking, got more into hiking in college, and could do most things, but couldn't really always keep up with my teammates, and certainly couldn't run very far, and had fairly low self-esteem. Just even though I was active, my eating kind of overwhelmed that. And when I went to college, it became more of a problem. I was hiking more, but I was also packing on the pounds. And I think at my heaviest, I had a BMI of about 40. So quite a bit heavier, as you can see, than I am now. And then about a year after I graduated college, I left and went into the Peace Corps. So I lived overseas for 2 years and lost a lot of weight there. The Giardia probably helped. It was certainly not the sole cause of weight loss. I think there were several factors. One is that I was a rural health and sanitation volunteer, and as a health volunteer, I figured that I should probably set a good example for the people in the town that I was living in, and so I just made the decision to not buy sodas and junk food and other unhealthier foods while I was in sight. And I certainly had my share of ice cream when I went into the Capitol once a month, but that was not very often. And also, as a Peace Corps volunteer, we are prohibited under threat of being kicked out of driving or riding on a motorcycle. So I walked everywhere and really stretched the limit of what I saw was unacceptable distance to walk. It went from being a few blocks at a time to I'm going to walk 8 kilometers because I need to get there and I have no other option for transportation. And I also started running. There wasn't really any other opportunity for exercise. And so I ran in ankle-deep sand in 90-degree heat with 98% humidity. And I think I got up to probably about maybe 5 kilometers was the farthest I ever ran, maybe 4. I didn't have anything to really measure it on. And then I also, this is my house, which as you can see is unfinished brick, kind of limited resources. And so if I just didn't have access to prepackaged food, so I had to cook, and I really enjoyed cooking. But if you don't feel like cooking and the only thing you can have then is popcorn, I frequently had popcorn for dinner, and that was it, because that's all that was available. And then when I moved back to the U.S., I brought my dog with me, who I got in Paraguay, and she needed to be exercised, so I kept running, and just slowly over time kind of pushed my limits of what I could do. I ran my first 5K, must have been 2009, and continued running, and I moved to Portland for medical school, kind of increased the amount that I was running there, and did a rotation out in Burns, Oregon last spring, or spring before last. One morning went out to go running to kind of see the meteor shower, and got out further than I realized, and got home and realized I had just run 4 miles and had no idea that I could run that far. And I've gradually been pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. I found a friend who runs about as slow as I do, and so we've done a couple of races together. And actually this last Saturday I just did my first half marathon, which I never ever thought that I could or would ever want to do. One tip though, if you want to feel successful, train at altitude and run a race at sea level. When I moved back from Paraguay, I did initially gain some of the weight back, although certainly not all of it. It's been a continual struggle. I always will struggle with this, but one thing that I've found is that I can do a lot more than I ever thought that I can, and it's through being pushed by my friends to be able to do something more than I thought I ever could. For example, I recently went on a 50-mile bike ride, and I don't think I'd ever ridden more than 20 miles. It's amazing what you can do when you just give it a try. I never thought I could run 13 miles, but I can. So the encouragement of friends and just keeping at it has been great. And I'm so much more able to do things than I used to. And I'm still not to my goal weight, which I will never be a stick figure. I don't want to be a stick figure, but I would certainly like to be healthier. However, I am in much better shape than most people who are a lot skinnier than I am. A couple weekends ago went out and hiked 18 miles. I can now say I've ridden 50 miles on a bike. Ran 13 miles. So it's amazing what you can do when you put your mind to it and when you have encouragement from your friends.
Okay, I had to write some notes. I just got back from vacation, and when she said, 20 pounds, and I was stupid enough to raise my hands, I had lost 20 pounds. I've gained 2 back. I left a blank spot here for return from vacation. This is my weight. I was hoping I could say 20, but it's a lie. So just on the record, I lied. I've only lost 18. I've also been overweight most of my life. I'm 57 years old. What I've done, I lost weight on the HCG diet. I've done everything out there. I've done it. And they can all be successful for that short amount of time. I've done it. I've paid the money. I've struggled through it, and then lost heart, and I stopped doing it and put the weight back on. Started here when I made my reservations for Cancun. I decided that I was going to lose some weight. I had to be on the beach. I knew I wasn't going to be thin, but I said I'm just going to try to get a little bit healthier. My buddy from work and I were working out like crazy. We were doing, we walk 1.5 miles at work every day at lunch, and then we were doing swimming before Zumba, before spin, so for 5 days a week for about 1.5 months, 2 months, we literally worked out 8 hours a day, I felt like. And then pretty soon she's like, I miss my babies, I feel like I don't have a life. And I knew that things were changing, and she kind of stopped working out with me. It didn't work with her life. 6:30 at night was too late for me. I opened up at 5 o'clock in the morning at work. And so I stopped going to spin, and I knew I was going to hit that brick wall because one of the speakers here had said you're going to do that, and that you had to figure out what was going to work for you. Now I'm really going to go to the end of that. I ran a 5K. We did the mud run. This was right after walking 33 miles at the Relay for Life Cancer Walk, 24 hours through that. So, apparently I was happy, but I finished it, okay? I did a 5K that I've never done before. And I was driving up here, and I had these little notes, but I was driving up here, and I was thinking, okay, what's different about this time? I know I'm going to be successful this time. I know in my heart I've only lost 18 pounds. However, I know, and why do I know that? And I got to thinking about, I just spoke at a not smoking class. November will be 4 years since I quit smoking. And I got to thinking driving up here, when I tell them, it's so personal, and when you're ready to quit, you're going to know it. And I can say Chantix, I can say the buddy system, I can say all these things that worked for me or someone else, but the truth of the matter is, it's all right here in your heart. When you know for sure that you're going to be successful, no matter what you're quitting, you're going to quit. And I quit smoking, I dieted lots and lots, but I knew when I quit smoking, the day I quit smoking, I knew that I was done. I knew in my heart I was never going to smoke again, and I couldn't tell you why, the good Lord above, whatever. But I knew that that was the last cigarette I was ever going to smoke. And I know this time, I was in Cancun, and And my boss had told me, don't worry about what you look like. There's a lot of French people, and I don't mean this in any insult to anyone you may, but people don't care what they look like down there. And the fact that larger women wear bikini bathing suits, especially the French, it's good, nobody cares. And I'm thinking, there is no way that I bought this bikini. Really, I'm like, I'm not walking on the beach like that. Well, I didn't go like with the bikini, but I was laying in the chair one day and I was looking at people and I thought to myself, I'm not looking if they're overweight. I'm thinking, even on larger women, that's such a cute bathing suit. Because I personally don't judge people by their weight. I don't believe that I ever have, and I don't think that's who I am. So I said, why am I judging me by my weight? Why am I so hard on myself? Because I'm carrying around, I'm never going to be thin either. I don't even want to be, but I am healthier than I've probably ever been at 57. I walk for 33 miles. My sister and I do the Link River Trail up over the hill into the park, and we added on another mile. So every Saturday and Sunday, we walk 6 miles. Every Saturday, we've done it all summer long. I can bike 20 or 30 miles that I've never been able to do before without breathing really heavy. And I thought, why am I so hard on myself? So I know that it's in my heart that's why I'm going to be successful. Whatever's going to work for you is going to be, buddy system's great, but really, I can't call my buddy 30 times a day and say, I want to eat bad. If I'm going to eat bad, I'm going to choose to eat bad. But the difference is, today, I gained 2 pounds on my vacation. I didn't walk as much as I should have. I did lay around and read books. I did have some margaritas, not going to lie. And when I weighed myself this morning and I said, oh, it's only 2 pounds. Okay, today I'm going to have a little more fruit. I'm going to drink a little more water. And life went on. And I'm happy and I'm not guilty. And so truly my story is I've done it before, but this one's going to stick. These guys help. The getting involved with all of you guys and the motivation and seeing that I'm not alone, which I knew, but sometimes it isn't easy to see. But really, my heart is different, my head is different. There is no secret fix, not for me anyway. I've tried them all. It's a lot of hard work and determination and forgiveness within myself. So that's my story.
I'm Rhonda. So my journey started in November 2013. I was diagnosed with diabetes too. I knew a year before I was borderline, but I didn't hear the warnings. I'm like, I'll be fine. So last year when I was diagnosed, I was scared. I was overwhelmed with all the information I was getting of what I needed to do and what could happen if I don't get my diabetes under control. But one thing I understood was I'm at a stage where I can get my diabetes under control and maintain with just diet and exercise. So I started watching what I was eating. Well, actually, first I plummeted the other way, not eating anything, lost 10 pounds during the holidays each month, which is surprising. I never did that before. So each month I had to go see my dietitian, get it controlled, find the food balance, which I never understood. Started working out, doing water aerobics, thought, hey, you need to work out, start doing something. So I started doing water aerobics 3 hours a week, 3 times. Well, actually an hour a week, 3 times. And that helped me work out and start losing some pounds of something I was able to do, an exercise I was able to do. My water aerobics instructor was really great and understanding and gave me some hints of different things I could do. And about 5 months into it, I was feeling like I wasn't getting a workout anymore. I wasn't losing any weight, wasn't feeling happy, so I knew I needed to step up my game. So I started changing my workout. Talked to Tammy and Brianna, and we started working out together, talking about what we're doing for diet. Of course, with me, I had to do differently. You can be on regular diets everybody else did, because I had to count my carbs, making sure, so my sugars didn't get high. So we started working out and became a great support system for each other. It was really nice to have somebody say, hey, I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling tired today, my body just says, I can't work out today. You're like, hey, your body needs, take a day off, don't overpush yourself. And we ended up trying different classes at the YMCA. Some of them were a little too overwhelming for me, and I knew I didn't want to take classes that were too overwhelming for me to where I'm going to feel defeated and then end up saying, you know what, never mind, I'm not going to do exercise anymore, I can't keep up with it. Because I've done that before, I know a lot of us probably have. So I'm like, I'm gonna take a step back, just keep doing water aerobics, and then I found I like Zumba. I'm like, hey, this is a class I could do. If I can't keep moving for an hour, then something's definitely wrong. When we're in Zumba, they're doing these big, huge moves. I'm sitting here and I'm going like this, like, yeah, I'm doing these big jumps and on these big arm waves. I'm like, you know what? I may be going like this, but I'm still moving. And I'm still working out. And I tell people when they come in, like, hey, if you can't keep the steps, that's okay. Just keep jogging. At least you're still moving. I've been there with you. Yeah, it's an exercise class I really enjoy. As a matter of fact, I tell people, hey, come work out with me. It's a great class. Well, maybe not for you, but it is for me. But you'll enjoy it. And so it's kind of nice. I've ended up talking to a bunch of friends to come work out with me. And it's a great support system to have because, it holds me accountable saying, geez, my friends are going to go. I'm going to go. Well, plus I'm going to go anyways. I'd love to go. It's a great class. And I like to encourage everybody, like, hey, you want somebody to work out with? I'll come work out with you. I know where it's been, like, where to start at, what to do. I'll want to go, somebody walk with you, I'll go for a walk with you, not a problem. I just want to help people get to where I'm at, least try something. It works for you, where you're not going to feel overwhelmed and get burned out of what you're doing. And and it's great to have a support system. And I thank my friends and my coworkers for being there for me and encourage me all the way along, saying you're doing a great job. Because there's days still to this point I feel like I'm not getting there. But I see the pictures. This is from the beginning of May. This was a couple weeks ago. And I never realized it until I saw the pictures, because I see myself every day. Until I saw those pictures, like, I'm doing it. I may not be doing much, but I'm doing it. People ask me every day, how much weight have you lost? I said, I don't know, and I don't care. I know I've lost in inches, and I feel great about myself. I love what I'm doing and working out. I said, that's all that matters to me. I feel healthy. I'm happier with myself, and that's all that matters to me right now. And getting my diabetes under control, why I still can. I want to get to where I could just maintain with diet and exercise. Because obviously, I guess you're still going to have diabetes, no matter what, but you could be maintain a diet and exercise. But, try something, work out. You need a workout buddy? I'll work out with you. Get somebody and say, hey, I just really want somebody to go walk with me. Ask a friend. Hey, will you come walk with me? Just do something with me. Before when I'd walk with Tammy, Tammy would ask me, hey, you want to walk with me down the hallway? Tammy, as long as you say walking and not running, because your walking is like running to me. Now I'm able to keep up with her when she's walking down the hallway. So it's kind of nice. I really love where I'm at. And, I hope everybody else can find a point to where they're happy with how they feel about themselves and what they're doing in their exercise, and try not to feel overwhelmed with what they're doing. Because you don't want to get burned out so quickly. Eventually I'll be there at the pace Tammy's at doing all those exercises, but right now, no. And I'm okay with that, because even though we're taking different exercise classes, she's still a great support system for me. As we are for each other, yes. She's like feeling like, I can't do this, I'm too much. I'm like, slow it down. Don't take so many classes, start out slowly. At least you're still doing something. So, but yeah, definitely my great support system of all my workout buddies, my water instructor, my nurse, my friends, all that came here to support me tonight too. It's really nice. Thank
You don't have any pictures for me.
We have your name.
Yeah, my name is Tom. My story goes a little bit back farther than some of these. 15 years ago, I was 49 years old, and I was getting aches and pains, and my knee hurt every day, and I had sinus headaches several times a month, and I felt like I was falling apart at 49. I love to work on cars, and I was having trouble twisting and turning to do that, and I lucked out and found a book written by a woman doctor, Dr. Schwartzbein, and I read the book, and it said in there, you got to get off sugar. If you're going to be healthy, if you're going to live longer and be active and lose weight if you need to lose weight, and not get diabetes and all these other horrible things. So in her book, sugar was the deal, and you need to get off of it. And so I read this book, and I thought, well, I could do it for a week. I guess I could go without sugar for a week. Because I love sugar, you know. I don't know about everybody, but a lot of us grew up on sugar, and I only ate meals so I could have dessert. So it was hard for me, but I said I could do anything for a week. So I did the thing for a week. I ate pretty healthy and no sugar. And then Friday night, I said, I'm having a piece of cake. And I had a piece of cake Friday night, and the next day I felt horrible because my body wasn't used to it. All of a sudden, it went a week with no sugar, and then you put sugar in there, and I felt horrible. So I went 2 weeks, and I went 3 weeks, and pretty soon I went months. I wasn't trying to lose weight, but I lost 35 pounds just from getting off sugar and sodas and junk food and all the stuff that has sugar in it. I mean, even the major brand peanut butters, if you look at the ingredients, which I now read, if you look at the ingredient in peanut butter, the second ingredient is sugar. It's crazy. And if you eat natural peanut butter, pretty soon you won't eat the other stuff because it tastes horrible, and the natural stuff tastes way better. So a few months went by, I lost weight, my knee quit hurting, and for the first time in 20 years, I didn't have sinus headaches, where I had to take sinus pills like candy, and I'd miss work because I had these horrible headaches. And I'd been to doctors, and they had no clue why I was having sinus headaches. And come to find out, it's because I ate too much sugar. So it was pretty dramatic. I felt fabulous. I felt like I did when I was 18. And it was a major thing to me. And I was convinced that if I knew about it, then the whole country was going to figure this out, and the end of the health crisis, and everybody's going to be happy and live to be 100. That didn't happen, of course. I've told lots of people my story, and I can only remember one person that took it to heart, and he called me up 8 months later and said that it was fabulous. He'd lost a bunch of weight, and he felt fabulous. So most people, it takes... like her, it takes a shock to your system to say, okay, you're either going to eat right or you're going to die, or you're going to have horrible problems. Luckily, I didn't have to go through that. And then about 3 years ago, I read a thing. I keep experimenting with my body, eating better as best I can. And about 3 years ago, I read a thing that said maybe you should not eat wheat. You know, try going without wheat and see what happens. So I thought, okay, I'll do that for 30 days and see what happens. And it wasn't dramatic. I heal up quicker. I had athlete's foot. That went away. So that was kind of amazing that I took store treatments for athlete's foot, and getting off wheat, it went away. So I don't know what the connection is, but for me, it's slight. But I stayed off wheat because I feel better, and I heal quicker, and I don't get athlete's foot. And then I have a daughter in the Air Force who was having horrible stomach pains, and she was diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome. And while I was doing the research to get off wheat, I told her about it. She tried it 2 years later, and her irritable bowel syndrome is gone. She takes no more pills. She doesn't eat wheat, and she's totally fine. She has, what she describes it to me, is she has a brand new body because she quit eating wheat. So there's some neat things going on. And after this is all over, if you guys want the name of some books, I've got 3 books that you should probably buy and read. It's worth the money. And it'll inspire you when you read the book to do it. And it makes a huge difference in your health. And as a side note, exercise, we all talk about exercise. You know, everybody here probably knows where Schuylkill Mountain is to the east. There's about 2/3 of the way up, there's a little tree I climb to a couple of times a week, and it helps my lungs and it keeps my legs good, and I work construction, so it helps me do that job. So that's a good exercise, walking, climbing, swimming, some kind of exercise. But as a result, 15 years later, I feel pretty fabulous. Most of my friends do not do this, and they're broken down, and they're barely able to get out of their chairs, and it's pretty irritating because it's unnecessary. They could be much healthier, and they don't have to buy prescription medicine all the time because I take none, and they wouldn't either if they got healthy. So I'll be happy to talk to you after if you get any questions.
I only go off notes. I ran cross country in high school, and I would pride myself on eating the most out of all of my friends. It was okay, because I was thin. I saw myself as a thin person as I steadily gained weight in high school and in college. I saw myself as a thin person as I moved up in clothes sizes and continued to eat more than all of my friends ate. After I graduated from college, I moved to France and I taught English in a junior high school there. I lived with a couple, the Martins, and Madame Martin was the best cook that I'd ever encountered. I couldn't say no to any of her food because it was too delicious to miss. I might never have it again. I had to take advantage. And I continued to see myself as a thin person, even as my French students asked me if maybe I should lose some weight. My first pair of pants that wore out in the thighs, I thought were a fluke. It must have been really cheap fabric. When every pair of pants started to wear out there, I thought, I think I might have a problem. This is an excerpt from my diary around this time. I've been seeing underwear lines with all of my pants, and I couldn't really fit into one pair. I was just too bulgy. I just feel that all of a sudden there are these grabs of squishy skin that never existed before, and I hate it. I'm trying to cut back, but it's so hard. There's delicious food all around, all the time. Yesterday, I felt hungry while I was running. Who wants to eat when they're running? Food is just always on my mind. I wish that I could replace it with philosophical thoughts, ideas for teaching, or even sex fantasies. At least they burn calories. Another diary excerpt just has the command, eat less. When I moved home, I was shocked at my transformation. I couldn't fit into the clothes that I'd worn when I left. All of a sudden, I wasn't the thin person that I thought I was. When I went to the doctor, she recommended that I lose weight. When I suggested to her that my BMI was in the normal category, she actually laughed. I had to make a change. Removing oneself from a problematic environment does wonders for weight loss. When there were no bakeries or chocolate shops around every corner, I stopped eating so much bread and chocolate. I began cooking for myself and made one-portion meals so that I couldn't eat any extra. I spent time with my active and thin friends and modeled their eating behavior, realizing that to eat more than everyone else could was not a source of pride anymore. And I was active. I had moved to Colorado and I hiked every day after work. I went on long hikes on the weekends and I skied in the winter. I spent as much time outside as I could. I didn't deprive myself of anything. If I was going to an Italian restaurant, I would eat pasta. However, I learned that afterwards I would eat salad for 2 days to make up for the big meal. When I visited my family during a long vacation, my mom was on Weight Watchers and I decided to join her. It was eye-opening. 1 tablespoon of peanut butter was 2 points. 1 1-inch cube of cheese was 3 points, and I could only have 24 points a day. I was shocked. I could consume my whole day of points in peanut butter in 15 minutes. Mini carrots became my best friend. I could stuff my face with them all day long, and these 0-point snacks would never add up. I learned that I should fill myself up with vegetables and then move on to cheese. And I learned that I didn't need to use 5 tablespoons of peanut butter to make one sandwich. Gradually, I became less hungry. I didn't think about food all the time, and I didn't crave it like I had. I listened to my body when I was full. And gradually, I lost 35 pounds in about 2 years. It wasn't a quick weight loss, but it was one that stuck. I still forget. On vacations, around holidays, or just certain stressful weeks, I want snacks. I can eat until I feel sick, and I constantly check the cupboards. But I generally try to remain very vigilant. I'm conscious of how my clothes fit me, and when I need to switch to salads for a few days. I put the extra food away before I'm tempted by seconds. I never have Doritos in the house. It is and always will be a struggle, but I can tell you it's worth it to lose the weight. I feel better and I'm more confident. I've only gotten more fit as I've gotten older, and my pants have not worn out in the thighs in years.
All right, Diane, you're ready.
And we have some amazing photos of Diane, and she was kind enough to let us pass them around. So if you guys want to pass them around and then give them back to Kathy at the end.
My journey is also like this gentleman here. It started about 12 years ago after my husband. Well, my husband died 14 years ago. And after he died, I lost 100 pounds. I was in Portland. And then when I moved here, I weighed 550 pounds. And then when I moved here, after I lost the first 100 pounds, I decided I was going to continue on my journey. And while I was in Portland, I had to have a knee surgery because I had been in a car accident, and they scraped the cartilage out of my knee. And the doctor then asked me if I wanted to have that bariatric surgery where they go in and staple your stomach and do that. And I'd already lost 100 pounds, and I said no. I said, I can do this on my own. I said, I do not want any surgeries. I said, I've already lost 100 pounds, and I know I can do this on my own. And I have enough willpower to do it. And so I did. And like Stephanie said, I have adult foster care, and my wonderful people help me through my journey, because every night after dinner, they go, Mom, let's go on a walk. And so after dinner, we go on a walk. We go from 1 to 3 miles a night after dinner and walk. That's our exercise. In the summer, we swim because I have a swimming pool at home. In the wintertime, we go into town about 3 times a week and swim in town. We all love to swim. So that's our exercise, swimming and walking. And for myself, I love to eat healthy. I love to eat healthy foods. And we were always taught as children, you have to empty your plate, and I still have that mindset, empty your plate. So I decided, since I have that mindset, I'm going to put healthy foods on my plate, and I'm going to take a smaller plate instead of the big plate. So I got myself a smaller salad plate, and I put healthy foods on my plate. And during one of our trainings, in our foster care training, we had a nutritionist come in, and she taught us the clock form of eating your salads, your vegetables, and your protein, and then your starch. You know, your bigger portion of salads, your larger portion of vegetable, smaller portion of protein, and a very small portion of starch. And that's how I do my plate. And I eat my bigger portion of salad. And I love vegetables, so I eat a large portion of vegetables and smaller portion of protein and very small portion of starch, if I choose to even have starch on my plate. And that is how I did my journey. And I have lost around 341 pounds in my journey. This summer, I was so ecstatic this summer. I was in a size 12, And I was amazed. My children, when they drive down the road, when we're walking, my daughter goes, "Who is that woman walking down the road? She can't even believe it's me." And at the end of this summer, I am now in size 10s, which is just blows my mind. Because I would have never even imagined me being in a size 10. So that even blows my mind. My journey started out in big old size 5X's and bigger, because, you know, and back when I was in those sizes, sometimes you couldn't even go to the store and find these sizes. Luckily, I can sew, so what if I could find these sizes, I would take them home and I would make my clothes. I can sew, so. And luckily back then, you could find material for 50 cents to $1 yarn. So I would make my clothes. And I'm tall, so that helps me even more. So, and I carry my weight very well. Most people would not have even known I was 550 pounds. And most people are amazed when I tell them that I weigh that much. Family members are amazed when I told them that I weigh that much. They don't even believe it when they look at my pictures. But the truth is, I did. And I praise the Lord every day for His amazing help in my journey. And He is still helping me to lose. I am now, my journey was to get down into the 100s. I am there. Praise God.
Great. Well, we are so thankful and so grateful to all of you for sharing your very, very powerful journey with us tonight. And we really do wish everybody success on your journey as you continue towards better health. So let's give all of our brave community members just one more round. It's really hard to speak in public, especially about such a personal issue. So you are all really commendable, and we really appreciate you.
Thank you for the honor to speak.
Before we go on, does anybody have any questions for any of our guests?
the 3 books that he was, that
Oh,
Tom
yeah.
was talking about.
Yeah, you want to write them down?
Sure.
Yeah, the first one I read was The Schwarzbein Principle, SCHWAR, let's see, well, I forget how to spell it now, Schwarzbein, B-E-I-N, I think it is, Schwarzbein Principle, and it's written by Dr. Diana Schwarzbein. It comes in a kind of a paperback thing, so it's about $13, $14. And she goes through, she just doesn't say don't eat this and don't eat that. She tells you what happens when you do eat stuff you shouldn't eat. She describes what goes on in your body when you eat it. You know, it raises your insulin level, and it causes joint pain, and it causes all kinds of havoc in your body. So it's a really good book. The other one is The Paleo Diet. It's kind of eating like a caveman ate, like we ate for centuries when we were living in caves. It's how our bodies kind of adapted to living. The Paleo Diet. The last name is Cordain, I think, C-O-R-D-A-I-N. And the third one is a book that just came out 6 months ago. It's called Grain Brain. Dr. Perlmutter, P-E-R-M-U-T-T-E-R, I think. He's an East Coast surgeon, brain surgeon, and his contention is in the book, and he makes a compelling case for it, that if you eat wheat and gluten, you're going to get Alzheimer's and dementia. And if you don't, you won't. That's pretty much the book in a quick version. But it's a great book. It's got lots of facts and scientific research and all that. So if you pick up any one of those 3 or all 3, every one of them motivates you to get healthy. Thanks.
Any other questions?
Diana, I have a
was totally overweight, and I had arthritis in my knees, and like this gentleman, I could barely get out of bed and move. So I knew I needed to do something and change my total way of life, and that motivated me to change. And so I did that and lost tremendous amount of weight. And then last summer, when I had lost over 250 pounds, last summer I finally was able to get my knee replacements. So praise God for that too. That was a miracle in itself. So now I can move freely. So yes, it's a wonderful journey.
And then, how did you change your diet?
Change my diet. I just started like I said, eating healthy foods instead of all the chemicals and sugars and poisons that are hidden in our foods. I would eat organic foods and healthy foods, and then just cut, like this gentleman, cut the sugar out of my diet.
I assume you read lots of labels.
I do read a lot of labels, and I eat out of the garden instead of buying a lot of canned foods and box foods, and I've always done that most of my life anyway, but I do not eat processed foods. I do not go out to eat. I eat at home mostly, even when my clients want to go out to eat. They can eat out, I go home to eat. You know? And also my clients have benefited from my diet, from the way of life that we eat. A lot of times my people will come in and they're very unhealthy when they come in. A young lady came into my house last year. She was a size 15. She is now a 4'6". Wow. So in a year's time she has gotten that healthy. Her skin tone is so beautiful. Her hair is beautiful and shiny. She's gotten so healthy in a year's time in my home. So the gentleman that is in my home, he's gotten so healthy in my home. He was overweight when he came in. He is now at his normal weight. So yes. So it's just awesome to see them flourish. Yeah. So just to have them flourish. And also I get to tell my testimony to people one-on-one in the community. Also, when I went in for my knee surgery, I got to witness to one of the ladies that was having a knee surgery. Her brother asked me to witness to her, and so it was wonderful.
So we have time for one last question. JC, you had a question?
Oh, it was just a comment about
Yeah,
the sugars and the starches. I have an issue with, I can handle getting rid of all the sugar, but the starches, I mean, I can't handle that. I need potatoes, really.
Just have half a potato.
Eat
Yeah.
less of it. Eat less of it.
Yeah.
Cut the portion down. You know, I'm not saying don't eat any of it, just cut the portion down, you know. With my,
And we are in potato country, so it's like giving up beer if you live in Portland, or, you know, coffee if you're in Seattle.
Seattle,
right, and as you find your stomach shrinking, your body will tell you that you're full. My stomach tells me when it's full, and if I try to overeat now, I'm sick, you know. So as your stomach shrinks, it'll tell you that you've had enough. And you'll find that you'll eat less and less of everything, you know, so just cut your portion down. You don't have to cut it out, you just cut it down.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all again.
So, man, I got a little emotional during some of those. That was amazing. We want to thank all of you for joining us. This is our final Couch to 5K lecture series, and we have continually been impressed by your enthusiasm, your efforts, and your positivity. We know that it isn't easy to exercise every day, and we have certainly faltered ourselves this summer. We continually remind each other, did you go to yoga? Did you go to CrossFit this morning? It's hard to incorporate exercise into your life. But we hope that we've shown you how important it is to incorporate it into your life. Regular exercise takes the place of medications. It makes you happier and healthier. And the opportunity is always there. So if you've not been as active as you would have liked this summer, that's okay. Start tomorrow. Take your dogs on a longer walk, bike to work, try out that exercise class that you've been wondering about. Every day is the perfect time to start. So thank you for your support. From Danny Miles to Leonard Hill, to Dr. Carl Winner, to Grant Niskanen, to all of our success stories here today, we have learned a tremendous amount. And keep up the great work. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us.
Right. So you guys, before we let you go, we just had a couple follow-up things that we wanted to let you know. So this lecture has mostly been about physical activity, and we've gotten so many questions about nutrition. And so it inspired Kathy. She went and she asked the nutritionist at Sky Lakes, could you give a really interesting lecture on nutrition? And so even though Couch to 5K is over tonight, there will be one more lecture in exactly 1 month from today. So it's October 21st at 6 p.m. right here, same place. Ms. Tanya Henderson, she's one of the dietitians. She's really good, really entertaining. She's going to be giving a lecture, again 1 hour, on the importance of balance and protein. Also on how to read labels, really understand labels, and not to be fooled by these gimmicky tricks that are on the food labels. So she says, should we choose fat-free or not choose fat-free? That is the question. So it should be a really good lecture if you want to join.
And we will be serving a variety of healthy snacks while we're getting together with Kathy Jakubowski, who is the director of the cafeteria. And so there'll be lots of yummy,
That's
really
awesome.
healthy foods to pick from.
And you can also bring food labels that you have questions about, and she will go over the food labels with you if you like.
What is the date again?
October 21st
At what time?
at 6 p.m.
Here.
here. And it's free.
This spring. Yummy.
So you guys, just a final reminder about the joint walk or jog on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on the OCME Trail, meeting at the Reeder Road entrance. And this will only be special if you all come. And so we're really hoping that you join us for just 1 hour, 1.5 hours, however long it takes. We'll go at your pace. You'll get a free t-shirt if you don't already have one. Pick one up on your way out. We would love to see you all there. So you guys, thank you so much for coming to our Couch to 5K series this year. We've had so much fun getting to know you, and we've had a lot of fun doing this. So we really appreciate all of you being here. This wouldn't be what it was without you all. So thank you
guys
so
gonna do
much.
another one?